Welcome to Historical Airsoft. Today we're going to be taking a look at my United States Army Vietnam War, mid to late war era loadout. Before we get into that, I'd just like to give you guys a massive thank you for 200 subscribers. We've climbed extremely quickly these days, and let's keep on going. I don't want to keep you guys for too long, so that's it. Let's jump into the video. Starting off the bat, let's talk about the weapons that I used for this loadout. So for the primary, I used the Classic Army M16A1. This is an amazing rifle. I'm loving it so far. If you haven't seen my review for it, I'll link it in the description below. More information on this rifle there. This is a wonderful rifle for this impression. If you're looking for something maybe not for Vietnam, but just a classic retro rifle, this is a perfect one to go for sure. For a sidearm, I have the KWC M1911A1. I also have a review for this gun a while back on my channel. Again, excellent pistol. When it comes to actual being historically accurate for Vietnam, if you were a reenactor, only officers and grenadiers were offered sidearms like this. However, for Airsoft, that's not that big of a deal, and if you want a pistol, you can totally run a pistol, and this is the perfect pistol for this impression and for this kit that I'm running right now. I do not yet have a holster for this, but I plan on getting one in the future. Alright, now let's talk about my gear. We'll start from the top down. So this is the M1 helmet, the same kind as used in Vietnam and Korea. For real helmets, this is just a replica. It's still steel. I got this from a local airsoft shop. For real helmets, there's only a very slight minor difference in how the actual steel is seamed at on the rims. That's not that big a deal when you have a cover on and when it's just airsoft. This is a fairly cheap reproduction. It's made of steel, and that's nice. However, the liner is not very accurate at all. You can see the materials are nothing what they would have been made of in World War II Korea or Vietnam, besides the actual plastic of the liner itself. The webbing is not great. However, for the purpose I'm using it for, it is no problem. I have the Mitchell cover, which is very common in Vietnam. More common than not, you'll see soldiers, the vast majority, probably 98% of soldiers, had the Mitchell cover, Mitchell is the name of the pattern, on their helmets at all times. The Army issued out helmet bands that are elastic, specifically for the helmet to hold the cover onto the helmet better. The Marine Corps, in many cases, did not have those. The Marines can often be seen running without a helmet band, and just with the cover on the helmet, or with a piece of tire inner tube that's been wrapped around. The helmet cover is also reversible, as you can see on my extra one. There's the green side, and then there's also a brown side, which is not commonly seen worn during Vietnam. However, you do see the occasional piece of footage or picture of Marines or soldiers stationed on a hill that's been heavily bombarded or heavily napalmed or bombed or whatever, with this to sort of blend into the more muddy terrain. Right off the bat, everything I'm wearing is M56, 1956 style gear. Some of it on the actual belt is a little bit later, but it's commonly referred to as the M56 gear. The 56 suspenders and the 56 belt, as well as everything else. So, starting up top, you'll see this bandolier. These were issued to soldiers after a couple years in Vietnam when they realized, and that as the M16 became more and more circulated among soldiers and eventually almost completely replaced the M14, they needed to be able to carry more ammunition. And the smaller ammunition pouches for the M14 magazines weren't cutting it. They could fit 3 M16 magazines in here, but that limited each soldier to only 6 if they had only these 2 magazine pouches, instead of soldiers having another way to carry them. So these were developed very simple. They're just canvas, and they work pretty well, and they could hold, of course, 7 of them. So for airsofting purpose, I only need 7 mid-caps. It's already kind of a lot for one time. I just dump the spent magazines into these pouches so that there's no confusion on which one I've taken out, which ones are empty, so on and so forth. So in that case, it's pretty practical for airsoft. You'll see this is the flashlight that they were issued. I don't remember exactly what they're called. I always just called it angled flashlight. Very often you'll see them with a red lens to preserve the night vision easier, or better, for, white light. Makes it so that your eyes readjust to brighter light conditions, so not good for if you're trying to stay alert at night. So later in Vietnam you wouldn't see these, but in the earlier to middle years, these were very common that you would see. So this is on a loop on the suspenders. Very common, you would see a compass pouch on the other side, on the right side or left side. It doesn't really matter, for a compass or a bandage that a soldier would have. I do not have one of those yet, unfortunately. So, Moving on, you'll see the suspenders themselves attach to the belt down here, and then again to the pouch itself. So the weight is very equally distributed, and these, mind you, are very much more comfortable than the East German setup that I have, that you may have seen in another video. If not, I'll link that in the description. This was around at the same time, but I guess it does show you one nation has a lot of money and the other one does not have a lot of money to put towards their military. So it's a very comfortable system. I'm a big fan of it. Moving on specifically to the rest of the belt, besides these two magazine holders you see in the front, I also have the Bayonet, which is the M8A1, specifically designed for the M16A1, and then can work again on any other later M16 variant. This bayonet I got for free, as far as I can tell, on the internet and local surplus shops. These appear to be about $30, and this fits very snugly, precisely onto the Classic Army M16A1. So super great for airsoft. You don't want to go off stabbing people, so I wouldn't recommend at all having this on anywhere near people at an airsoft field. But for Vietnam reenacting or anything else along those lines, definitely a cool addition to have on your loadout. So moving on to the other side, in the same place, I have the canteen. So this is the earlier canteen, which is for actually a different canteen that I have in this. However, I don't have any other period correct canteen cover. You'll often see the Alice canteen covers, such as this one right here. The big way you can tell that this is a post-Vietnam canteen cover is these horizontal stripes along here. Instead of vertical stripes you'll see on most of the Vietnam M67 canteens. However, this is an earlier version that did not even have the vertical lines. This one is dated with 1963. I'm not sure about its exact, the make and model of this canteen cover. However, I have seen tons of footage and have confirmed with Vietnam reenactors and others that this was often used during the conflict. All the way in the back, you have a butt pack right here, or a field pack. It's commonly referred to as a butt pack. It can be opened with these straps right here, and stuff can go in there. So it's not designed to carry anything in specific, just things that soldiers would need to have with them anyway. Maybe a poncho, food, anything like that. So again, for airsoft, not necessary at all, but for making your kit look good and for reenacting purpose, definitely something that's great to have for a Vietnam impression. Moving on specifically to the uniform, I wear the Rothco's reproduction of the Type 3 jungle fatigues. I have another video review for those on my channel that I'll link in the description as well. So if you haven't seen that, I'd go check them out. They're really good. It's a really good uniform. I'm a big fan of it. It's cheaper than other reproductions and a lot cheaper than real original uniforms, that stores up are drying out very quickly. So definitely it's great. A lot of the people that have made the other reproductions, like More Militaria, they have stopped making them. So Rothco seems to be the only place to go to get a good reproduction uniform right now. So they're great. I'm a big fan of them. For boots, you're going to want to get yourself a pair of jungle boots. These jungle boots are not the most accurate though. I need to get a new pair. So as you can see, the canvas on these jungle boots is black. Well, most commonly in Vietnam they would wear the green canvas jungle boots. Black was worn, but generally green is the color that was worn. Also, you can see there's a bit of a shine on them. Again, I wear these for my Civil Air Patrol uniform. No reason to, not going to jump into that. But these are fairly shiny. Not at the moment, but I need to have them shiny, and that does not fit very well with the Vietnam impression when you're stuck out in the jungle for weeks on end, so on and so forth. About that, actually. So, I do not have a certain unit picked that I am depicting. I'm going off of generally what you'd see a U.S. Army soldier wearing in Vietnam at the time, around early 1968 to 1969, 70 is what I'm going for. So, jungle fatigues, again, are thin, and they're designed to keep the user as cool as possible without overheating, instead of wearing what the rest of the army across the world was wearing at the time, whether you're stationed in Germany or the United States, which is the OG-107s. OG-107s, I do not have a shirt to go with it. These are original Marine Corps OG-107s, heavily starched, probably worn by some officer who never left his desk in the United States. However, these are a cool find, and again, I got these for free, so I'm not going to turn down free shit. But anyway, the jungle fatigues would get ruined very quickly and soldiers would constantly be getting new pairs when they came in from the bush or the field or the shit or whatever you want to call it. So it's very common that you see soldiers without any unit patches, name tapes, U.S. Army name tapes, or anything like that on their jungle fatigues. So for the time being, until I pick a unit, it's completely fine and completely accurate to have nothing on your jungle fatigues. Also, it was very, very common to see soldiers with sleeves rolled up. I do not have the sleeves rolled up right now. It's sort of just roll up the sleeves. There's no specific way to do it as far as I know. I'm sure there was a regulation way to do it, but if you're in the field and your sleeves are constantly coming unrolled, for going after the look of a Vietnam soldier, a soldier in Vietnam, it's completely acceptable to just loosely roll them up. Another thing that goes along with just the general wear of the uniform is one of the bigger inaccuracies in my uniform right now is how clean it is. When you're stuck out in the bush for weeks on end, it's raining, you're sweating, it's 100 degrees, there's 90% humidity, it sucked. You're not going to stay clean. So definitely if you're going to do real Vietnam reenacting, or if you're trying to win a loadout competition at a Vietnam event, go roll around in the dirt, go roll around in the mud a little bit if you want to get that perfect look. That's just about it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you're new here, subscribe, give us a like, leave us a comment. We appreciate all the growth we've been getting these days. Super great. So, yeah, thanks again. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a nice day.